Picture this. Behind the dazzling veneer of classic Hollywood glamour lies a tangled web of secrets so profound and scandalous that entire careers and lives hinged on keeping them hidden. This isn't just about affairs, divorces, or wild nights. It's about the secret children, hidden heirs of Hollywood royalty, conceived in secrecy and erased from the spotlight. What unfolds when some of the world's biggest stars turn against their own bloodline? Stay with us, because the truth behind Tinseltown's invisible offspring is about to dismantle some golden illusions. Imagine a time when the glittering world of Hollywood hid one of its most carefully guarded secrets. This is the story of Judy Lewis, born from a brief yet intense romance between Loretta Young and Clark Gable during the filming of Call of the Wild in 1935. Both stars epitomized grace and sophistication, yet behind the scenes, scandal was brewing. Loretta Young discovered she was pregnant and faced a daunting choice: risk her flourishing career, her reputation, and her devout Catholic faith, or disappear from public view and craft an elaborate ruse. She chose the latter, vanishing from Hollywood and announcing to the world that she had adopted a child, Judy. In truth, she was raising her own daughter in secret, weaving a narrative so intricate that even Judy believed she was adopted. Clark Gable, Hollywood's leading man and married at the time, never publicly acknowledged Judy. His carefully maintained image left no room for a hidden child. Meanwhile, Judy grew up with an unspoken mystery hanging over her, as those around whispered about her uncanny resemblance to Gable. It wasn't until she was 31 years old that Judy confronted her mother and uncovered the truth that redefined her identity. This revelation was both shattering and freeing for Judy, exposing the lengths to which Hollywood's elite would go to protect their reputations. When Loretta Young's biography disclosed this secret after her death in 2000, the public was stunned. Yet, for Judy, the impact of living in the shadows for decades had already taken its toll. Her tale is just the opening chapter in a saga where fame clashes with family and the hidden children bear the heaviest price. Marlon Brando, known not only as a revolutionary actor but also as a man whose personal life was as tumultuous as his on-screen roles. Behind his powerful performances in classics like A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront lay a private life fraught with chaos, especially regarding his romantic entanglements and the children born from them. After Brando's passing in 2004, the public was stunned by the emergence of 3 secret children, each from different mothers, whose existence had been carefully concealed for decades. Their stories unveiled a complicated family dynamic shadowed by secrecy and the heavy weight of Brando's fame. First, there is Castan Brando, born in 1961 to legendary actress Rita Moreno. Their on-and-off relationship was one of Hollywood's most whispered-about romances, yet their child remained an intensely guarded secret for years. Then, Rebecca Brando entered the picture, born in 1966 to Cristina Maria Ruiz, Brando's Guatemalan housekeeper. Rebecca's life was spent largely outside the glare of Hollywood, her connection to Brando a hushed rumor until the legal battles over his estate made her identity publicly undeniable. Lastly, Nina Priscilla Brando, born in 1989 to another domestic worker, Maria Cristina Gutierrez. Like the others, the details of her birth were shrouded in silence, underscoring decades of concealment and the fear of scandal that permeated the Brando family. For Marlon Brando, maintaining this secrecy was as much about preserving his carefully crafted public persona as it was about protecting his private life. The Hollywood machinery worked tirelessly, suppressing tabloids and smoothing over scandals to preserve the Godfather's mystique. But with Brando's death, that facade crumbled. Legal disputes, DNA testing, and public revelations brought these hidden heirs into the light, forcing Hollywood to confront the human consequences behind the legends it creates. Each of these children carried the weight of growing up in the shadow of an infamous patriarch, silenced by loyalty, fear, and the unspoken rules of the film industry. Brando's greatest off-screen performance wasn't in a movie, but in the decades spent hiding his bloodline in plain sight. Once exposed, these stories challenged Hollywood to reckon with the toll of protecting star images at the expense of real lives and complicated family legacies. Clint Eastwood, a Hollywood legend known for his tough guy roles and directorial prowess, harbors a chapter of his life that remained hidden for decades: the story of his forgotten daughter. Back in the 1950s, far from the stardom he would later claim, Eastwood was an aspiring actor navigating small parts and community theater. It was in that world that a young woman from his amateur theater circle gave birth to a baby girl in 1954, Laurie Murray. Following Laurie's birth, she was placed for adoption, disappearing into a new family and an entirely different life as Laurie Warren. For 60 years, her true identity remained a well-kept secret, unknown not only to the public, but to herself. Eastwood's private life was already a tangle of rumors and whispers about children lost and concealed, yet Laurie's existence was kept completely out of sight, erased from the Hollywood narrative that glorified his rugged, solitary anti-hero image. It wasn't until 2018, when Laurie was 64, that her story surfaced through DNA testing, old letters, and a public family acknowledgement. Suddenly, she stepped into the limelight she had never asked for, discovering she was not just adopted, but the biological daughter of one of Hollywood's most iconic figures. This revelation wasn't just a shock. It underlined the era's harsh attitude towards scandal and family secrets, where denial and distraction were the go-to methods to preserve the brand of greatness. Eastwood's story highlights the old Hollywood strategy: protect the image at all costs, even if it means silencing the truth. Yet, even buried deeply, these forgotten children eventually emerge, staking their rightful claim to their place in history. In the true Wild West of family drama, that's the kind of justice that, after decades of silence, finally rides into view. Jack Nicholson, a figure who seemed to need no disguise. The iconic grin, rebellious roles, and memorable Oscar speeches painted a picture of a man always in the spotlight. But beneath the surface of the public persona lies a hidden chapter, a story involving a daughter, a mother, and a secret kept at a high cost. Meet Tessa Guerin. Born in 1994, she is the result of a brief, whirlwind romance between Nicholson and a New York waitress named Janine. On the surface, this seems straightforward, yet the reality was anything but simple. From the outset, Nicholson drew a firm boundary. Public acknowledgement of Tessa was something he refused to offer. She did not appear in family photos, never made it onto holiday cards, and was absent from the carefully curated narratives shared with the press. The message to Tessa's mother was unmistakable: don't tell, don't talk, don't cause trouble. In Hollywood, children without formal recognition or contracts often get written out of the story altogether. Growing up, Tessa knew who her father was, and so did her classmates, thanks in part to those unmistakable eyebrows and that mischievous smile. Yet, in all the ways that truly mattered, family gatherings, media coverage, social events, she remained a ghost, invisible and unofficial. Nicholson did provide financial support, ensuring Tessa attended private school, but always maintained distance. Tessa once summed up decades of yearning and exclusion with a poignant comparison: her life felt like Orphan Annie's. Her story resonates beyond her personal experience. Nicholson, the Hollywood maverick, has acknowledged other children later in life, and rumors hint at even more, the products of fleeting encounters shielded by the strict privacy codes of the studio era. For Tessa, the enforced silence proved suffocating. She has spoken candidly about the emotional turmoil, the identity struggles, the therapy, and the constant feeling of being collateral damage, an unwanted consequence of her father's fame and secrecy. It is fame by proximity, yet only extended when it suits the star. This is Hollywood's oldest game: erase, edit, silence the inconvenient truths, then let the world move on, oblivious. But now, Tessa refuses to remain silent. She is courageously sharing her story, reclaiming her narrative, and shining a light on other invisible children still hidden away from public view. In a world where Jack Nicholson's parties never seemed to end and cameras always rolled, for Tessa, the silence was deafening. Her journey stands as a testament to the countless forgotten lives orbiting just outside the bright lights of fame, waiting for their turn to step into the frame. As the curtain draws on these astonishing revelations, it's evident that Hollywood's dazzling spotlight often overlooks the genuine lives and hardships of those concealed in its shadows. The legacies of these iconic stars are inextricably linked with the stories of their hidden children, tales that demand acknowledgement and understanding beyond the glitz and glamour. These forgotten heirs not only challenge the polished narratives of fame, but also remind us of the complex human realities behind the silver screen mythology. If these hidden tales from Hollywood's private corners captivated you, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts. Subscribe to uncover more secret histories behind the glitz and glamour of the entertainment world.